And welcome to our match. We've got unintended consequences out at 50 kilometers roughly in a solid ball landing, and Nasty Boys have all landed between 0 and 10 kilometers from the beacon.
And that's going to be quite interesting because we've brought the Scorpion right in at 0, potentially wanting to use those rapid heavies straight from the get-go to get damage onto red team hit.
Right, and if remember, attendees have not brought a Logi ship. They've brought a long-range, all-out, long-range application setup, with the exception of their very heavy Abaddon. Everything's pretty quick. We've got the match starting, ships are moving, the Tendies team are burning off to kite, and the Nasty Boys are trying to get their frigate into screen.
As we see that Merlin from Tendies moving and the Incursors going for it, but instantly damage is going down onto that Blackbird and responses coming across onto that Oracle. If that Blackbird goes down, it's going to be a huge game changer, getting the ECM off one of these teams.
Right, and the Blackbird's tank is very slim. It's got a 1600 plate, an energized adaptive, and a damage control, and that's about it. Although the Oracle's dipping very low.
It looks like the jams have probably landed on that Augur because he's not appearing to get any support really in that Oracle at the moment, which makes getting that Blackbird off the field even more crucial if they want to make use of their own Logi. He's bleeding into structure now though, and will potentially drop before this is at all relevant.
He's actually got a cloud of rep bots on him and reps coming in from the Augur, and he's getting pushed down through that. And really can't understate the amount of DPS from that beam of Abaddon.
Cursus is gone already, probably taken out again with that jams taken off some small DPS in that Talwar, and that Merlin just taking him off the field. Oracle clinging on for now though, that really is clinging on, barely a sliver of armor over very little structure as the Blackbird bleeds through towards 50% hull.
And the Oracle drops. Interesting trade there. If the Blackbird does end up going down, I'm not sure I would call that a good trade, trading your DPS Oracle for a Blackbird. But the Blackbird appears to have stabilized, and damage is now coming in from the Tendies onto the Nasty Boys Dragoon, their last available ship to screen or catch any of the kitey ships. And if that Dragoon goes down, their opportunities for victory will be very limited.
It's worth noting here that with the choice of that Scorpion, it's only got a set of unbonused, sort of lacking any damage mods, rapid heavy missile launches. It's not got a heavy amount of DPS. You're sacrificing that top end DPS to pick it. So with the Oracle gone, there was very little damage left on this team.
Right, but at the same time, the Tendies team, they've not brought a Logi either. And the Hurricane and the Blackbird and the Talwar all have no local tank, and the Abaddon only has a local ancillary repper. So it's possible that those rapid heavies and the light drones from the Dragoon might be enough to push something down, especially that Blackbird as it hangs, perilously low there. It's only clawing its way back thanks to rep bots.
But that's a lot of rep bots, and it's compared to the straight Logi reps, that potentially changes things a lot, because that's a decent amount of DPS they're going to be losing, and it's going to be their skirmish links. They're going to lose a lot of speed in that team.
It really does, but for him to be out in boundary violation range, he would have had to be very close to out of links range as well. I'm not sure they were gaining much benefit from that to begin with.
Potentially giving himself additional speed was unhelpful there. We're beginning to see damage coming back onto the Blackbird now, and you've got to think they wish they had a smart bomb to try and clear that huge swarm of maintenance bots that are on it right now, because those are the only thing holding it up, along with its own ability to jam out DPS.
Well, the Scorpion and Blackbird actually both have their own smart bombs, but neither one of them is really in a position to put them to good use. Now, the damage is split from the Tendies team across all of the ships on the Nasty Boys team. The Scorpion in a little over half armor, the Augur are taking damage, and the Dragoon has been hit, but he's regenerating shield. It's difficult to say who the Tendies are going for right now.
You see that Merlin in, and it's holding on to the Scorpion as best it can, which is right on top of that Abaddon, which is, even without jams, going to be mitigating a lot of its damage coming out.
Yeah, that's true. The Abaddon has the Abaddon is beam fitted, and the Scorpion's on it at point blank. It doesn't look like the Abaddon's really able to apply damage that well to it.
In fact, the entire Nasty Boys team is in close orbit around that Abaddon, almost entirely mitigating that beam laser damage.
He's just switched from the Augury to the Scorpion, and it doesn't look like he's having much effect anywhere, even though they have their Merlin and Talwar both up for screening. And now the Blackboard's dropping again.
Yeah, I think it must have missed a jam while those heavy missiles were loaded, and it's going into structure again. Though it appears to be holding on for now, it may have got a jam cycle back to save itself. That Augur balancing around 50% armor for now. It's got a lot of armor maintenance bots on it, and those have really been playing a huge role in this match, keeping these teams up against what DPS can get past the jams.
And like you mentioned, the Scorpion's only got its rapid heavy missiles to deal damage with. And I don't actually see any DPS drones on the field from the Nasty Boys team, although I just saw a flight of Acolyte 1s come out. So it's entirely possible that the rapid heavies on the Scorpion are the only damage they've got, and they might have gone into a reload cycle.
Same time now, that Abaddon is going to be a complete brick by this point. With the Blackbird just gone down, I think those Acolytes must have sealed the deal, cutting past the ECM, because of course once they're assigned, they will not move off their target unless they themselves are jammed. The Merlin here again, it's being switched to in primary now. It's been under new pressure from that Dragoon for a while now, and probably doesn't have its hardeners or any ability to prop model bay.
And with that, with the Blackbird down, it looks like the Tendies team has very limited ability to deal with what Nasty's got left on the field. And even though they have extremely limited DPS, the Merlin's in a really, really awful position for itself defensively. And if the Nasty Boys can take that out, they'll have a clear points lead.
Well, it should be mentioned, they already have a points lead for the Nasty side, having taken out Cruiser and Battle Cruiser compared to Battle Cruiser and Frigate. Even if nothing continues to go down for the rest of this, which potentially it might, with a very low DPS team up against a team that's getting jammed and muted out.
Yeah, you're right. I did my math wrong. I apologize. The Merlin appears to be actually clawing its way back a little bit, though. It's leveled off at about 30% shield, and it's ticking back about as much as it's taking any damage.
Yes, it's got shield bots on it now to try and hold it up, and it's probably still jammed out, but it's got itself away, recovered some cap, and it's micro warp driving around again now. Though I doubt its DPS or its tackle is going to become relevant, because if it comes back in, it will get muted out as well as still being jammed.
That's quite a cheeky move there, bringing shield bots from an Abaddon. I would not have expected that, not in a million years.
I think in this match particularly, the maintenance bots would have been incredibly useful, because ECM on both sides means you are going to have a very low amount of DPS actually being applied. We're going to be
Yeah, that's very true.
It multiplies the effectiveness of those bots, because they can actually start repping past the amount of DPS that's being applied. The question here, though, is you've not got anything stopping the Nasty Boys from applying DPS anymore, but where is it going?
So I'm seeing screen shakes here. The Scorpion is firing its rapid heavies at the Talwar, but I think the Talwar is a little far away, and its SIG is pretty small.
Talwar, of course, has that SIG bonus, mitigating the bloom from the micro warp drive, making it a very poor target for missiles. It's part of probably why it's been picked so often. It's very hard to take out as easily as some of the other destroyers are.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's really not a much better target for the Scorpion to go on. Like we went over, the Abaddon is brick tanked. It's got a plate. It's got an ancillary wrapper. It's probably not going to go down to fire from unbonused rapid heavy launchers. And the Merlin being even smaller than the Talwar makes an even less appealing target for unbonused rapid heavy launchers.
We do see damage going on to the Augur now, though, and it's chunking through its armor. This is probably the only danger they have at this point in the match, because that Augur can easily hold the other two up while they stay close to the Abaddon.
It looks like the majority of that damage is coming in from the Talwar. I think they might have just not noticed that going on, and the rep bots have flocked back over to it. We've got less than 1 minute remaining in the match. I think this might actually be the way it ends up, with 3 ships up for both teams at a stalemate.
And if it does end like that, it's going to be Nasty taking the win, having taken out the heavier ships from unintended consequences.
Right, and fair play to them, and especially with the Tendies battlecruiser boundary violating. If that hadn't happened, they probably would have still had it up and won the match handily.
Indeed, that's probably the linchpin in which this was decided, as that took away the DPS that risked breaking through the rest of this Nasty's team as well.
And with that, that's the match. Back to you in the studio.